What's up guys, I'm PawsBuild and welcome back to our Ethical Zoo franchise mode series in Planet Zoo. In the previous video, we finished off the European section of our Ethical Zoo by adding in some guest education and also dealing with a disease outbreak in the zoo. That was a little bit scary. In this video, we're going to start a brand new section of the zoo, the Asia section, and it's going to feature the Saiga as our first animal. So the Europe section of our zoo is pretty much complete at this point. We do have quite a lot of litter around here because we've got quite a lot of dirty people coming into our zoo, it seems, who are just throwing their stuff everywhere. So I'm going to add some more bins in because I really hate this, honestly. Why would you come into a zoo and just litter everywhere? It's just so annoying. Okay, I'm going to put the bins there. I'm going to add another one at the end here. Like, there's so much over this area. There's not going to be an excuse anymore. I mean, there wasn't at the start, but there's definitely not an excuse now. You're always, like, arm's length from a bin. So, you cannot litter in our zoo. They're quite full, some of them, as well. I do wonder whether we need more janitors, or caretakers, aren't they? Whether we need more caretakers. Because, yeah, I see how they do. Thing is, oh, some of them have a high workload. Okay, the Europe ones. That makes sense. Okay, let's get another couple of caretakers. I'm going to see another two because we've quite a lot of shops around here. And I'm going to put these in the Europe work zone. And hopefully they will have a much better time doing their job with more of them. We've just like doubled the amount of caretakers working here. Okay, perfect. We've got some people have passed quarantine from our diseased animals in the last video. Got a couple here. That's good. They can be released. I'm going to put them back into their habitat. And I think, let's check this one as well, because we might have some in here. Yeah, there's one there. So it's definitely working. Quarantining the animals is definitely helping us fight off this disease. Oh no, Matilda. Oh, the others are all gathered round. Bless you. Oh, okay. Well, we've had Matilda pass away. Other than that, I think there's another... Unless this is the same one, there's another swan that's past quarantine. So we are treating them pretty well. Like, we're doing a good job of getting everyone back to health. I think that's okay. And it frees up space in the quarantine for the others that are sick as well. So hopefully we'll go through all of them. I don't think we need another quarantine building. We've got 2 quarantines. I think we'll be fine. Oh my goodness. It's like I start the video and then everyone dies. Brock as well. We must have got them all around the same time. Oh, poor Brock. We will do a memorial at some point for all of our animals. So they will, you know, gone but not forgotten. And everyone here is having a good time at least. Enjoying the sights. Just moved a couple more of them back from quarantine as well. And now let's start with what I want to do this video, which is to expand our zoo even more and come over this way into the Asia side of our zoo. So we haven't even started this. I want to start the Asia side of our zoo. I'm going to do that by expanding off with a path. Now, I've got to think about this water treatment because it's kind of in the way. It's going to have a negative impact on the guests. And where do we need it? Okay, I think we could move this whole thing left a little bit. The only thing I'm wondering about is the power from the solar panels. Ah, but it's not depending. I don't even think this one needs it. The only thing, this could even potentially be serviced. The water pump could be serviced by this solar panel if we do it well enough. I'm not sure it'd have the reach, actually. So maybe not, because that's needed all the way down there. Okay, but we can definitely move this whole thing all the way over to the left, because all it needs to do is touch that water area over here. So this is probably fine. And let's check the negative impact. That needs to be, like, far enough away. Let's try it there. That's not going to quite work. Move it slightly to the right. That is now touching. That should be absolutely fine. We can check it to make sure that it still does work. And the negative impact is still not impacting everyone. But at least we've moved it kind of out of the way a bit. Oh, and it's broken anyway, so that's good. Let's request maintenance on them both. And then hook them back up. Seems like everything's going wrong in this zoo right now. There we go. We'll go with something like that. That works. And now we can get rid of this. And everyone is happy. Now, we've got quite a few more past quarantine. That's great. Let's send all of these back into the habitat. Yeah, just one disease outbreak had a lot of animals very sick because it didn't get on it early enough with the quarantining. There we go. Okay, so we've moved everything out of the way. Now we have some space. Let's expand our area down here. So I'm going to use the 10-meter paths. I'm going to make sure it's far enough away from the pump there. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to have that there. And we can come this way. Now, I do want it to extend up to here eventually, and I want to link up this path. So I'm going to just add some paths in that link up this whole area and give us a bit of a framework to work with for our new zoo area. Okay, we've laid out some paths. We've got a bit of an area here. We've got some even more animals to release from quarantine, which is perfect. So let's keep doing that. Oh, there's only 4 in here now. I think we've fought the disease off. That's perfect. Because there'd be more going in otherwise. Oh, that's so good. And there's only a few in here. That means everyone's back to health. Perfect. Okay, I'm really happy about that. That's really good. And we've got a little bit of the Asia side of our zoo. I don't know why anyone's walking out here yet. There's literally nothing here. But what I've done is I've made 2 kind of staircase / ramp areas that will be for that will be like the quickest way up and down this area. And then I've got a more accessible area over here. I think I'm going to take this path out here too. I've got a more accessible, slow ramped area up here. So the less abled guests will be able to get up here much easier. And it's not too much of a detour at all. It's just next to this one here. They can go up. I'm also just going to adjust where this is because it's right on the border of the solar panels range. So it's going to run out of power more than anything else. So I'm going to move this education stand for the badgers just over to around, I think I might do it over here next to this donation bin there. And then we've got an area here. Some of you asked why we don't have a seating area for here. It's just because they don't sit on the path. So there's not really a logical area we could do one for them. So they'll have to just gather around the educator. But that's fine. They're gathering quite well as it is. And there's quite a lot of rubbish around here. So I'm going to put even more bins around this area. Just to make sure people throw away their rubbish. Because it's disgusting. Why are they doing this to our beautiful zoo? And while we're on the topic, I'm going to go through actually and add a load of bins and benches along these paths that we've just made here. And for that, we need to pick a new set that we're going to be using for the Asia side of our zoo. And for that, we're going to use the Indian, East Asia, and Indonesian to get kind of our Asia themed pieces. And they're the construction pieces we're going to use on this side of the zoo as well. Try and keep it in theme for just the pieces we have in game. Now, what bin are we going to use? The Indonesian bin's very interesting. Right, so we've got to choose. I mean, it's not very bright. It's a bit of a miserable rainy day in the African savannah, but that does happen. Ooh, they're fighting. I'm going to pause the game. We've got a few bins here. Ooh, I quite like this Indian bin, the wooden one. I think we might go with that one. That's quite nice. And then bench-wise, we've got a few to choose from. Oh, these are comfy. That looks a lot more comfy than most of the benches we've had. Indonesian bench looks really comfy. Now, I'm trying to think what's going to be more in theme as well. Like, we don't want it to be too garish next to the other ones. And I say that as I'm like, ooh, this middle one with the parapet over it. That looks kind of good. I think we might go with the middle one there because it's the most colorful and vibrant. And I think that's That's what I want to use, yeah. And it still matches really nicely with these other bins. So we're going to go with these two for our bins and benches. And I'm just going to distribute them all along the paths. But first, I want to sort out this fighting that we have here. I think someone must have grown up. Oh, we've got elderly and infertile and young adult, yes. Now, let's remove... Oh, because you can only have one female, I think, or they fight. So we've got 2 young adults here. And they're fighting for dominance, probably. With Shenzi, yeah. Okay. Well, let's, for now, I was going to say we can try and sort out a system where we could keep some of them. But honestly, I think we'll probably just let these 3 live out their years here. Because that's what I want to do. I don't want to send them off when they get old. I want to let them live here. And if they're going to fight with their kids, that's not going to work. So it's just not worked out timing-wise. If they'd been younger, they probably wouldn't be fighting. And the fact is that they're all infertile now, so they're not going to have any more kids. But... it is what it is. Let's release these 2 young ones into the wild. I've just released one of them into the wild, and this one is still okay, it seems. So I'm going to see, because she's a really good female as well, I'm going to see if her child is okay with her, the other one, and whether it was just having 3 females was too much. But I'm pretty sure we had 2 females earlier, and they still fought. So let's see what happens here. As long as Shenzi has her dominance, she's not going to be too aggressive towards the younger ones. As long as they don't challenge her. So let's see if they stay in line. If she does, then we can keep her and then we can continue the Shenzi line with some new males when they all pass away. But we'll see how this goes for now. Right, back to bins. Let's lay out our bins and benches along here so we don't get even more litter and our guests have a place to sit down. Okay, that's a lot of benches and a lot of bins. I guess there's somewhere to sit down, and if we need to move them, we'll just move them in the future, but I'd rather that than forget to have them. In fact, I do think we might need some on some of these flat areas here if people need a rest. Let's put a few on there and a few on here. And then we can just put a couple of bins in here too. And that's a bit more covered as well. Now, we also don't want people to fall off, so I'm going to put the railing on ground path along these areas along here so they can't accidentally fall off the side of this sheer cliff edge that we've got. There we go. That's much better. Now we're safe. The guests are safe at last. Now, I'd like to add first animal in our Asia section over here, right by the other entrance, and start to pull guests this way, as well as attracting them to the Europe section of our zoo. So I'm going to have a look in the animal trading for the Takin. Now, these are really interesting looking animals. They kind of look like, from my perspective, kind of look like cows, but they're really interesting looking. Look, let's look at them on Zoopedia. Look at that. They also remind me from the animals from Ice Age. I don't know if that's just me though, but like some of the other ones when they're migrating, it looks like them. Anyway, they are vulnerable, so they're a good animal to get in here. It's a large goat antelope, so really, really unique animal. And what group size do they live in? 1 to 19. Okay, so a big one, but it's 1 male and then up to 19 females. And they need at least 2. Now, they live to be 18 years old. They can breed until death, and they can breed from 2.5 years old. So we need to keep in mind, we don't want any that are approaching 18 years old. I'm going to pause here because we've had an alert. No, we've got, I think, is it the main wolves have grown up? No, it's our birds taper. We've got our babies grown up, so they've actually fought their mum and injured them, so that's not very nice. Off they go. not having that in our zoo. And this is really good. Our babies of our main wolves have grown up as well. So we're going to release them. Oh, I've missed that because they've gone to adults. Okay, well, that's not good. Oops, I'm going to release them into the wild as well. They'll be absolutely fine. Let's release them both. And are our capybara okay? This is the habitat that always has issues because there's so many babies all the time. I think they're okay for now. Yeah, they are. And what are the last ones? Our giant anteaters. Okay, this one has grown up also. Let's release him into the wild. Wow, 212. That's amazing. Everyone should be happy in this habitat now. That's what we like. You can just see how many animals we have in some of these and how much it costs to run these habitats. £7,000 to run a European habitat because it has so many animals in it that with the feed costs adding up. Now, food is actually a really good point. We should have a see, yeah, and make sure everyone is on as higher food quality as we can. We need to get higher food quality by researching our animals. So that is the next thing I want to do. Now that we've sorted our disease out a little bit in the zoo, it seems like everyone's back to health. I'm just going to double check that our quarantines are empty. This one is empty. And the other one is in this building over here. This one's only got one. Oh no, quarantine complete, but he's outside. Oh yeah, it's an additional male. Okay, well we will just release them to the wild then. So everyone's out of quarantine, which is exactly what we want. I believe we had our quokka in here as well, waiting to go in. So I'm going to send them to the quarantine over here, because this isn't where we are in the zoo anyway. And then they can be added into our habitat, because we've only got one quokka right now, which I feel very bad about. Poor little guy. Lost all his friends. And now we can get some more animals over on this side and put them into this quarantine. So let's have a look at getting some Takin. These are 7 years old, so that's perfect. Let's just adopt all of these and get 4 of them. That's a decent sized herd to start with, and we'll get a male as soon as we can. Let's send the 4 of these into our quarantine on this side of the zoo. And let's have a look at building a bit of a habitat for them. Now, what kind of space did they need? They need, let's say we've got a group of, let's say we have 20 of them, because that's what we want to build the requirement for, and 10 babies, or even 20 babies, which would be a lot. They need about 2,000 meters squared. Okay, they don't need any water or climbing, and they need grade 3, taller than 1.25 meters. So we need to use the full doors because it's more than 1 meter tall, which is how tall these are. Let's have a look at what pieces we want to use for this habitat. So again, with the construction pieces, I'm only using Indonesian, East Asian, and Indian pieces. And we're going to make some interesting habitats with these, I am sure. I've already got quite a lot of interesting pieces, so I'm very happy with that. Let's have a look through and find what we want to make these habitats out of. And then I'm just going to lay out a boundary for it. And once we've laid out with the construction pieces where we want the barriers to be, then we can actually put some null barriers along and turn it into an actual habitat. Oh no, it looks like one of our platypuses died. Oh, bless them. But in good news, our quokka have passed quarantine. I think this one's still under quarantine, so we'll leave her, but we'll move the other ones across, because they're going to take a while to transport across anyway. And hopefully by the time they're done, this one will be ready anyway and they can move across. Let's pause the game and lay out the boundaries for this habitat. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a couple of wall pieces that I've lined up to the path. And then instead of just laying out the entire wall area and then adding decorations to it as I go around, I'm going to decorate up a couple of pieces and then I can duplicate them round. And this will save us a lot of time in doing that through duplication rather than decorating each wall piece individually. Okay, we've put in the boundary now with all these. I put some lanterns in as well, so we'll have a bit of light around here when it gets dark. But we don't really need them on the back, so I've taken them off the back wall because, like, you know, no one's back there and the animals don't need them. So I thought it'd be nice on this edge still, though, so it still looks nice from the side. But I thought it was just a waste to have them on the back. So we need to put a door in to complete this kind of boundary area, and we need to add in the null barriers. So seeing as we've gone for this brick style, I'm thinking let's go for either the metal or the glass habitat gate. The glass might look better here. Or the metal, actually. Maybe we'll go for the metal one. Yeah, let's go for the normal habitat gate, the metal one. And I'm going to put this as close to where our keeper hut is going to be as possible. And I'm thinking we're probably going to have the keeper hut up here. Yeah, so it's going to want to be near the stairs. So I'm going to put it around here, and then it should be in a good location. Like that. And then I'm going to set all the barriers to be null. And then what we want to do is just go around our habitat and put in all these barriers on the outside of where we've put our boundary in. Okay, so we've linked that up. Now we just need to edit this section so it looks a bit less weird. We're not going to have this design. We'll probably just try and put in a door frame and make it align up. There we go. I think that's about right. That looks good to me. And hopefully that will work. Oh, apart from that trim at the back. We don't want that. Let's just move this in here so that will be covered up. As long as you can get the pattern to align, you can't really tell that it's duplicated. There we go. Now, that should be absolutely fine. This should be a perfectly fine habitat. So I'm going to rename it Takin. And if I play, I think they're passing quarantine, so we can actually move them in, and hopefully they won't be able to escape. Now, I've tried to make it more than 1.5 meters tall everywhere, so this bottom row is 1 meter, and then we've got the fence post to block any higher than that. So hopefully that'll work. It should be absolutely fine. And the construction, like the resistance grade of the construction pieces is like unlimited, so they won't be able to break through them. Let's grab the 2 that have passed quarantine. Oh, it's all of them actually. Let's grab all 4 of these and move them into the Takin habitat. And we'll probably get a bunch of alerts that we don't have the right buildings for it yet. So let's put a large keeper hut in up here, which is going to have good access, hopefully. I'm going to turn angle snap off and kind of align it to the path a bit. Now, we are going to make a proper building for this, but for now, let's just put a keeper hut in as it is there. And the other thing we want to make sure is that the negative impact isn't touching any of the paths. So let's make sure it's like that. There we go. And they've got good access down, or they can go up and do some of the other habitats we're going to have. But this isn't too far from the habitat for the keepers to go, so it should be absolutely fine. We're also going to want a staff room, so I'm going to put a large staff room in next door. You can have it along that path. And the other thing we're going to need, I think this is probably fine actually. We're going to leave that here. I'm going to make a work zone for it. Let's go to staff work zones, and we're going to start the Asia work zone. And then we are going to put this habitat in that work zone. And then I'm also going to add it to the zoo work zone. And for now, this is going to be fine because it hasn't got any vets in it. But we do have a vet and a mechanic in our zoo work zone. So there is going to be someone that's able to come and sort this out. Because the vet doesn't come very often anyway. It's only like a routine inspection type thing. But it's at least got a vet assigned to it. And then we've also got the dedicated keeper in a keeper hut, and we need to actually add a keeper. Otherwise we don't have a dedicated keeper. So let's put 1 keeper here and assign them to the Asia work zone, and they're our first keeper in the Asia work zone. Now, these all need power. Of course they do, as do most of our lights that we put on our habitat. So let's add a solar panel in here. And then we're also going to want to add some down here. I'm going to sort the decoration out for them at another point. I'm thinking this one could probably be edited and have it on the other side. There we go. Now that should reach more of them. Yeah, that's got most of the lights there. I think we can probably play around with the other ones. In fact, we can probably just very slightly move this closer. I'm trying to think where the negative impact is. Yeah, these can both just move a touch closer. And I think we will then... Oh, we're not going to grab it. Okay, I'll cancel that move. This light is going to be annoying, but we can see what we'll do about that for now. For now, we'll leave it. It could be we reduce the amount of lights and we can take that one off or something, but for now we'll leave it as it is, and this should be able to just connect in here quite nicely. Oh, we've got some dangerous fighting. We've got the red deer has grown up. Who have we got? We've got Lewis. There's a big boy now. He's going to be released to the wild. 37 credits is not bad. And, oh, final quokka. Yeah, of course. They've passed their quarantine. And they need to be moved into their habitat. Please keep the names coming for all the animals as well, including the quokka. And we'll do some renaming soon in our habitats. Oh my goodness, they're here. Look at them. They're so strange. Look at them. Wow. Okay, well, first things first, let's go on habitat and check that they can't escape. Oh, they can escape here. Right, that is good to know. Of course they can. Okay, so what we want to do is probably raise this fence up. Okay, that should be fine, except it looks like an animal's escaped, so it's not them. That's unusual. How has an animal escaped? Where's the barrier? Maybe... Oh, it's that the barrier's just... Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, that's not escaped. We haven't quite done the barrier properly here, so I'm going to edit this barrier. There we go. That should be fixed now. And the barrier's a little bit better. It's just they walked right to the edge. And there's also an animal alert. What's that for? The red deer. I think that's just our guy who's grown up now. I think he's okay. Oh, he's injured. Oh, bless him. Right, let's take him to quarantine and he can be seen by the vet. Because he got in a fight with the sun before we fix the situation. And you can see we need some solar panels over here. So let's add in some more solar panels. Let's maybe have one here and one over here. Now no one should be able to escape. Everyone should be happy. Oh, they can still escape up here. How is that? I'm gonna have to reduce this this mountain area just a tiny bit around here. If we flatten it out, they shouldn't be able to jump. It's because basically they can climb up here and then jump. Oh, it's probably through here. They can jump over that area. Right, okay. It's all fun and games when you've got an animal that knows how to escape. Let's have it like that in a kind of a tiered wall. That should be far more secure. Well, they can still get out. How? Is it there? Oh, it might be there. Right, hopefully that sorts it. I'm going to keep trying until it works, but my alternative plan is to use this as an opportunity to make a shelter for them. So I'm going to pause the game. Other than that, they can't get out. Let's see what the terrain issues are. Right, okay. They're going to need bit more short grass and a bit less long grass and a bit more rock. That's absolutely fine. We can definitely do that. They're also going to need some water, and we've got a nice water pump right there. So the water area needs to be over here. So let's first create these guys a little bit of water. There you go. That's a little drinking hole for them, a little watering hole. We can also make this a little bit rocky underwater, which might give them a bit more of their requirements. And around the edges, it can be kind of like a rocky area over here, and then also have some rocks around here. There we go. They've got rocky and short grass, which looks very weird, but it's what they like. So I'm not gonna get on their backs for that. They also don't need any hard shelter, so perhaps we don't need to provide. We'll provide something, so they've got a bit of cover in case it rains, because I imagine they don't want to be out in the rain. So let's just build them. If we pause the game, let's build them a little shelter up the back here. We can fix our habitat barrier to be a bit more consistent, and this should hopefully meet their needs quite well. Okay, we built kind of an interesting red roof. I thought we'd have like a big barn. It kind of gives me like American barn vibes, which I like, to be honest. It's like a big barn for them, and it should resolve our issue of them being able to escape because we've just blocked off the back area. So yeah, they can't escape now. It's all completely enclosed, and they've got a large hard shelter area. Even though they don't need it, they have an area to go if it rains. And I think these guys, let's have a look at how big this area is. It's one thing I didn't check, but I know it's going to be bigger than 2,000 meters. Yeah, it's 8,000, almost 9,000 meters. Probably with some nature in here, it's going to be about 8,000 square meters, which is, what, 4 times the maximum that they're going to need? I do think we should maybe have a look, see if we can get a male. They're still just females here, so I'm going to leave it for now, because we've got 4 of them. They seem quite happy. Let's put in a little bit of bedding for them, and then add in some enrichment too. Okay, just added in all their enrichment. That should mean that their needs are being met. Look at them. What's this one? Temperature. Oh, it's too hot for them, is it? Okay, that will help when we put some nature in, because we're going to put some trees in. So let's do that next. Let's add some nature. So we've got the tiger. Oh, not the tiger, sorry. Just temperate Asia. And I've just realized I've made a huge error. Because these poor guys aren't from the grasslands. I thought that these guys were temperate and grassland animals, but they're actually tiger and temperate animals. So there's no way they're going to be happy living in the African grasslands. And I don't think that would fit in our kind of rules for the ethical zoo. So unfortunately, I think we're going to have to say goodbye to them and find a replacement for this habitat. But luckily, there is another animal that would share a very similar habitat to this that I was also planning to add to the Asia section. And that animal is the Saiga, which is a very strange animal also. So you can see I had strange animals on the mind when I decided to add the Takins in. This is why they reminded me of Ice Age, is they're all woolly. They're from the taiga, so they're definitely just not going to be suited. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all of them to the trade center. And then we're going to have to just trade them to another zoo. They're probably even being traded to our own Winter Wonder Zoo in the tundra climate. So let's hope that they are all getting on well if we quick trade them out. Now we do need to get the correct animal that works in this habitat. Now let's get the Saiga. And you can see these are also very interesting animals. If we look on the Zoopedia, they live in groups of 4 to 11, so one male still. They live to 11 years old and they can breed until death and from 2 years. And they also have a 1.25 boundary requirement, so it's not going to be too bad. And if we had a group of 11, wasn't it? And 11 babies, they need even less space. So this is even better for them. Let's get these guys and put them in. And they should be just fine having this habitat, even though it wasn't originally intended for them. They're all of a reasonable age as well. Let's grab these 3 and move them in. Let's put them into quarantine first to check if they've got any illnesses or injuries we should know about before they go into the zoo. And then when they're ready, we'll move them in, which probably explains why they needed so much rock and short grass. I was like, it's not very, it's not very grassland to not like long grass. It's a bit strange. They normally like long grass. So I'm just going to revert some of this to long grass along here. And we can see what the newcomers want when they're in. We should probably also get rid of the enrichment we've put in because it's likely not exactly the same. There we go. And also, oh, we've got, oh, Perry's died. No, Perry the platypus is gone. And we've got our jaguar babies have grown up. Okay. Oh no, they've injured Hunter. Stop fighting your children. Right, you're going to go to quarantine, Hunter. And your young son is going to be released to the wild. Look at that, 314 credits. Wow, off they go. These jaguars are beautiful though, aren't they? Look at them having a little sleep. They're very, very pretty animals. This unfortunately means that there's only one platypus in this habitat as well, which isn't part of their group size. So let's have a look for some platypus and see what we can get. Right, well, let's have a look again at the Zoopedia because I can't remember what group size they live in. 1 male and up to 2 females. So we've just got 1 female at the minute. So we'll get 1 more male and 1 female potentially. Let's sort them by appeal. This one looks the best. Let's grab him. And let's also grab this female. So we have a couple. Let's move them to quarantine in this side of the zoo. And then they can be moved across when they're ready. And it looks like we've got a male here as well, so that's good. Let's make sure these are all sorted by appeal. This is the best male. Oh, I think I like the stats on this one, especially fertility. We're going to go for this one. And then we could get, let's get this single female as well. And then we've got a couple more Saiga. Let's send them to our quarantine and they can be moved across. And it looks like they've passed quarantine, these 3. So let's move them into the habitat. I have to change the name of that. That's so ridiculous. I can't believe that that happened. Let's put the Saiga in here. Keeper's here. Like, where did my herd go? It's okay. You'll have a new herd soon. And we've got the inspector here. Perfect. They'll always rock up exactly when you need them. We can, however, go and put the right enrichment for these guys in before they get here. Let's sort the habitat tab by Saiga. Oh, I'm going to pause the game because one of our boars is about to inbreed. I'm going to sort this by Saiga. I'm going to put the enrichment in that's relevant to them. To be honest, it looks exactly the same. I could have just left what we had in here from before. That's crazy. Okay, well, I'm going to put them in and they can enjoy much the same enrichment as was already here. And yes, that should be fine. I'm also going to put a large food trough in, and I'll probably put that over here. Maybe about there, and then I'll move this hanging grazer across a little bit to here. And then they've definitely got an area where they can have their food. I'm gonna go sort this out. We don't want them to be breeding. And it's Addison, the young male. Let's release him into the wild. Because Henry is his dad, and there should only be 1 male in there. These young ones, they come up so quickly. It's so much to manage, isn't it, when you own a large zoo? And here come our Saiga, our newest additions. I'm very excited for these. We've got more of past quarantine. Oh, our platypuses, platypeople, they're ready. Let's move them through into the platypus habitat. And we're just in time to see the Saiga arrive in the hands of our caretakers. Let's have a look at them as they come through the door. They have a really strange nose. It kind of reminds me of like the proboscis monkey. And also kind of from the animals from Ice Age. So they're featuring heavily in this video today. Oh, look at them. They're tiny. Oh, their little faces. It should hopefully meet our standards of being ethical because it's a very large habitat for them. It should have everything they need. We just need to make sure it's the right terrain type for them right now. It is not. It doesn't have enough short grass or enough soil. They need a bit more soil. And we've got the other two have passed quarantine. And the other two have passed quarantine, so we're going to move them in also. And then they're all in here. We should have 5, I believe. 4 females and 1 male. And that looks to be everything they need other than nature. And these plants are going to be from the Asian grasslands. So these are the plants that be compatible with both of these regions. Let's put them in. And they can hopefully enjoy a bit more coverage. So, I mean, they're going to be better with handling the heat, aren't they? The temperature is actually fine for them, but this should give them a little bit of coverage. They don't want too many though, so I'm not going to put too much in here. Just a little bit to add a bit of plants in, a few rocks, and it should be good for them. Okay, I don't want to put too much in. I think that's probably okay for them because they don't want too much. So I'm kind of left it as like I guess a grassland oasis type situation. Because they are like desert grasslands. So I don't want to put too many plants in. And it seems like they're happy with that because they've got 100%. They're happy with the plants. They're happy with the terrain. And they are happy with everything. Their nutrition could be better. But we do need to set up our vets to actually research what we want now. So let's do that right now. And I think we need to start with our European animals. Let's get one. Oh, which are the vets that work on their work zones? That would be easier to see, wouldn't it? Let's get our staff on work zones because they're gonna have to go to those habitats. So who is the vet on the zoo? That's Susie. And on Europe, we've got, it's Lorna. Okay, so Lorna and Susie are the two we need to research our European animals, ideally. So let's get Susie on the European fallow deer and Lorna on the red deer. We can get our education up, we can improve their meal quality. Now we could get another vet for this area, which is probably not a bad idea. I'm just trying to think about our finances. I don't want them to go too low. Our guests seem to think that the zoo ticket price is fair, so I don't want to put it up too much. They're also very thirsty, and we need to sort out the litter and everything. But I think everything's doing a bit better. They're happy with everything other than we need a bit more water and to clean up all the litter. But I do think that we're doing much better on that now. The crime, we probably just need to replace everything. We've had a few things vandalized. Let's replace all, and replace all. But crime doesn't bother me too much, honestly. It's not the end of the world. It's just a few things that are vandalized, and the security guards are doing a decent job. The only other thing I want to do to this habitat is just elevate some of these areas very slightly. I'm just going to raise up this part of the habitat. Just move the enrichment item out of the way. And they're happy with all of that. They seem happy. It's a little bit more interesting. Just having a little bit of a different elevation over here, I do think it makes a bit of a difference. Now we've sorted out this habitat, let's learn a little bit more about our new guest, the Saiga. The Saiga antelope lives on the steppes and grasslands of Mongolia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Russia. It can run up to 80 kilometers an hour, so it's a little bit faster than I am. And it migrates over 1,000 kilometers between summer and winter. So we haven't fully accounted for that amount of space in the zoo, but I think we can make it work. The Saiga antelope's nose is thought to be adapted to filter out dust in the hot summers, which is why it has that appearance. Saiga antelope are often predated by wolves, and their calves are often killed by foxes, dogs, and eagles, which is a little bit sad. Unfortunately, when trading rhino horns became illegal, Saiga antelope horns became more in demand and were often used as a rhino horn substitute in traditional medicine. Apparently, this was even actively encouraged by rhino conservationists. The Saiga is now considered near threatened, but this is an improvement over the last 20 years, as from 2002 to 2022, it was considered critically endangered. And this increase in population is due to conservation efforts to reduce poaching and prevent the spread of disease. However, the genetic diversity of the Saiga is still low, so it has a bit of an uncertain future. Okay, we've learned quite a lot about them, and they're such cool little animals. Oh look, I think this one's gonna drink. Look at them, having a little drink. Adorable. Now, we haven't quite finished with their habitat. Oh, we've got dangerous fighting. Oh no, okay. I think all the babies have grown up in our European mixed habitat. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got a couple of the deer have grown up. So this one needs to be released. I don't know why they can't. Oh, they're injured. Okay, well, let's request quarantine on them then. And then also the red deer. Prongs is injured. Bless him. Let's send him to quarantine. And then let's have the sons released to the wild. So we've got Ben. Ben needs to be released to the wild. Okay, that should be fine. And Sydney's died. Bless. Forever in our hearts, Sydney. Now, what we're missing over here on this habitat is we need some education and some donation bins. So let's guest facilities. Let's put a donation bin in. I'm going to put it about here, I think. We need to put them in areas where guests clump together. So this is probably a reasonable distance. I'm going to recolor this for our Asian theme. And I think these are pretty reasonable colors to use throughout. So I might do kind of an orange and yellow theme. I think these are pretty reasonable. I'm going to go with the orange and yellow and then a white icon. I think that's pretty good. Let's duplicate this and move it across. Have a number of them along here. And then we're going to need some education facilities to educate our guests about them and get more donations from them. So let's put them in and turn off random rotation. And it should be easy enough to just add these to the wall where we want them. Okay, we've added in a bunch of education. We've also had one past quarantine, so we're going to release him into the wild. This is the sun, and then prongs we can move back into the habitat where he's going to be the alpha again. And yes, all of our education is up, and they should be donating now. So hopefully these animals will start bringing us some money in as well. But they're so funny looking. And we've got some education boards and speakers to do our education for us. Also got the redneck wallabies about to inbreed. Never good. I'm going to guess that this young male is the son, so I'm going to move them out. And I think that's a pretty good start to the Asia side of our zoo. We will obviously be expanding this out. We can maybe have some guest facilities over here. We want more habitats around here, and all across here I want some nice habitats. but I think this is a pretty good start. The Saiga are a very unique animal to have, and the fact that they're near threatened means that we're doing something to really help the species out, so I like that. But I think we'll carry on the Asia side of our habitat in the next video. If you've liked this video, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out, and I'll see you in the next one.